They were powerful beyond our wildest dreams. Imagine a civilization that truly understood the intricate dance of energy, light, and crystal. They didn't just use technology, they communed with it, harnessing the very fabric of existence to create wonders we can barely conceive. Their cities weren't just structures, they were living tapestries woven from light and sound, powered by the pure essence of the earth itself. But they lost the heart. This isn't some sappy, sentimental statement. It's a fundamental truth. They strayed from the source, from the very essence of what it meant to be connected, to be truly alive. They began to see the universe not as a sacred tapestry to be cherished, but as a vast resource to be exploited, a system to be controlled. They took the sacred codes of Lemuria, the gentle, harmonious wisdom passed down from an even older, more spiritually aligned civilization, and tragically, they turned them into weapons. Imagine taking the blueprints for a beautiful, self-sustaining garden and twisting them into a design for a destructive machine. That's what happened. The very essence of creation, designed for harmony and upliftment, was perverted for dominance. The Atlanteans didn't ascend. No, they didn't rise to higher states of consciousness and being. Instead, they inverted. Think of it like this. Ascension is an outward spiral, an expansion into greater love and understanding. Inversion is an inward collapse, a turning away from the light, a descent into self-serving darkness. Their focus shifted from collective well-being to individual power, from spiritual evolution to technological supremacy. It was technology without soul, a dazzling display of external prowess devoid of inner wisdom. They built magnificent structures, intricate machines, and systems that could manipulate reality, but the why behind it was hollow. Their knowledge became a burden, knowledge without humility, leading to an arrogant belief in their own infallibility. They thought they knew it all, and in doing so, they closed themselves off to true insight. And perhaps most dangerously, they sought power without source, disconnected from the universal flow, believing they could generate it themselves, separate from the divine. This was a grave error, like a river trying to flow without a spring. This relentless pursuit of control, this unbridled ambition, had catastrophic consequences. They fractured Earth's field, the delicate energetic grid that sustains all life on our planet. Imagine a perfectly tuned instrument, and they began to pluck its strings haphazardly, creating dissonance and chaos. They split timelines not in a fanciful sci-fi way, but by creating such profound energetic distortions that they ripped the fabric of potential realities. The choices they made, driven by ego, limited future possibilities, locking themselves and others into narrower, more constrained paths. In doing so, they cracked the balance of the world, throwing off the delicate equilibrium between light and shadow, creation and destruction, spirit and matter. This wasn't evolution. Far from it. It was ego masquerading as enlightenment. They believed they were progressing, advancing, becoming gods. But in truth, they were merely amplifying their own shadows, projecting their unresolved issues onto the grand stage of existence. They confused intellectual understanding with true wisdom, technological mastery with spiritual awakening. Atlantis didn't just collapse in a fiery cataclysm or a sudden flood. It was a slow, insidious erosion from within, culminating in a dramatic external event. But more profoundly, it triggered the fall of others and echoes through us still. The ripples of their choices, the energetic imprints of their mistakes, are woven into the very fabric of our collective consciousness. We carry a memory, a subtle resonance of that time. You feel it, don't you? That uneasy sense of déjà vu, that nagging feeling that something isn't quite right with the world today. It's the same hunger for control that we see playing out in so many aspects of our modern lives. The desire to dominate nature, to manipulate economies, to control narratives, to suppress dissenting voices. It's the same disconnection from ourselves, from each other, from the natural world, and from the divine source that truly sustains us. We're so often lost in the digital ether, constantly striving for more, yet feeling emptier than ever. We're not just remembering Atlantis, we're living it again. The parallels are striking, aren't they? The rapid technological advancements, the focus on material gain, the environmental degradation, the widening chasm between the haves and have-nots, the spiritual yearning amidst a sea of consumerism. We're at a pivotal moment, standing on the precipice of a choice that could define our future, just as the Atlanteans stood on theirs. But this time, we choose differently. This time, we remember the lessons etched in the very fabric of existence. We choose connection over control. We choose compassion over conquest. We choose humility over hubris. We choose soul over superficiality. We choose to reconnect with the heart, with the wisdom of the earth, and with the sacred source of all creation. We are not doomed to repeat the past. We are empowered to learn from it, to heal the wounds, and to forge a new path. This isn't just about remembering a lost civilization. It's about remembering who we are, at our core. Follow, if your soul remembers what they tried to erase. The story of Atlantis isn't just a cautionary tale. It's a blueprint for our present and a guide for our future. To truly understand the depth of their fall from within, we need to delve deeper into the nature of their power and the subtle yet profound ways they diverted from their true path. Imagine a time when humanity wasn't reliant on fossil fuels or clunky machinery. The Atlanteans had an innate understanding of zero-point energy, the boundless, swirling energy that exists in the very fabric of space. They didn't create energy, they tapped into it. Their cities hummed with a vibrant, living resonance, powered by massive, intricately cut crystals that acted as conduits for this cosmic energy. These crystals weren't just inert objects. They were living libraries, consciousness amplifiers, and magnificent power generators. They could levitate colossal structures, purify water with a thought, and even influence weather patterns with harmonious intent. Think of a civilization that understood quantum physics not as a theoretical concept, but as a lived reality, effortlessly manipulating energy fields in the very fabric of matter. Their homes were self-sustaining ecosystems. Their vehicles glided silently through the air, and their healing temples could regenerate tissue and revitalize the spirit with beams of pure light. But this profound understanding of energy became a double-edged sword. Initially, their use of these sacred codes of Lemuria was aligned with cosmic law. The Lemurians, an even older civilization rooted in pure consciousness and interconnectedness, had shared their wisdom with the early Atlanteans, teaching them how to work with the earth, not against it. The Lemurians understood that all life is interconnected, and that true power lies in collaboration and harmony. They lived in communion with nature spirits, communicated telepathically, and understood the language of the elements. The Atlanteans inherited this profound legacy, but as their intellect soared, their spiritual grounding began to waver. Their pursuit of knowledge without humility also manifested in their intellectual arrogance. They amassed vast libraries of data, far exceeding anything we have today. They understood the intricacies of the cosmos, the mathematics of creation, and the deepest mysteries of the universe. But this knowledge became a barrier rather than a bridge. They believed their intellectual prowess made them superior, not just to other civilizations, but to the very spiritual laws that governed existence. They dismissed intuition, empathy, and spiritual wisdom as primitive or irrelevant. They dissected reality into quantifiable pieces, losing sight of the interconnected whole. They became so focused on the how that they forgot the why. The power without source was the ultimate illusion. They believed they were self-sufficient, drawing their power from their own ingenuity and the vast crystal networks they controlled. But true power flows from an eternal, infinite source, the divine consciousness that underpins all creation. When you disconnect from that source, your power becomes finite, dependent on external mechanisms, and ultimately unsustainable. They were like a magnificent machine, beautifully engineered but cut off from its power supply. It could run for a while on residual energy, but eventually it would sputter and die. The fracturing of Earth's field wasn't just an energetic phenomenon, it was a reflection of their own internal fracturing. As their society became more divided, more obsessed with control and less with harmony, the Earth mirrored their internal state. The crystal grids, once humming with benevolent energy, became strained, overloaded, and in some areas corrupted. The delicate ley lines, the Earth's energetic arteries, became choked with negative vibrations. This led to geological instability, shifts in weather patterns, and a general malaise that settled over the planet. And the splitting of timelines? This is a concept that transcends our linear understanding of history. Imagine countless potential futures, like branching paths in a forest. Every choice we make, individually and collectively, nudges us down a particular path. The Atlanteans, through their sustained choices of control and disconnection, narrowed the possible futures for humanity. They closed off pathways to peaceful coexistence, to spiritual enlightenment, and to a harmonious relationship with the Earth. They essentially created a bottleneck in human evolution, forcing subsequent civilizations to navigate a much more challenging landscape. Their mistakes rippled forward, not as a curse, but as a lesson, an energetic imprint that humanity would need to address and heal. This wasn't just a natural progression, a mere misstep in evolution. It was ego masquerading as enlightenment. They genuinely believed they were ascending, that they were leading humanity to a new golden age. They saw their technological advancements as proof of their spiritual superiority. But true enlightenment is about dissolving the ego, not amplifying it. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness, embracing humility, and surrendering to the divine flow. The Atlanteans, in their pursuit of external mastery, lost sight of their inner world, mistaking intellectual prowess for spiritual wisdom. They built monuments to their own genius, rather than temples to the divine. The fall of Atlantis wasn't a singular event. It was a culmination, the logical conclusion of a series of choices driven by fear, greed, and a profound misunderstanding of true power. The cataclysmic end was merely the physical manifestation of their internal collapse. And because of their advanced energetic capabilities, their fall sent shockwaves across the globe, triggering the fall of others, not just other civilizations directly connected to them, but also setting a precedent, creating an energetic template of what happens when a society loses its heart. The echoes through us still are not just vague memories, but energetic patterns, limiting beliefs, and ingrained tendencies that we are still working to transcend. You feel it, don't you? That pervasive sense of anxiety, that underlying tension in the world. It's the same hunger for control that drives so many of our systems today. Look at our obsession with data, with surveillance, with centralizing power in the hands of a few. It's the desire to predict, to manage, to dominate, rather than to trust, to surrender, to flow. We see it in our political systems, our economic models, even in our personal relationships. We often try to control outcomes rather than trusting the natural unfolding of life. And the disconnection, it's palpable. We're more connected digitally than ever before, yet we feel increasingly isolated. We scroll through curated feeds, comparing our lives to artificial constructs. We're disconnected from the food we eat, the water we drink, the very ground beneath our feet. We've replaced genuine human interaction with virtual substitutes, losing the nuance, the empathy, the heart-to-heart resonance that nourishes the soul. We're disconnected from the cycles of nature, from the wisdom of our own bodies, and from the deep spiritual truths that resonate within us. We're not just remembering Atlantis, we're living it again, right here, right now. The symptoms are eerily similar. The relentless pursuit of technological advancement without a moral compass. The prioritization of profit over people, of progress over planetary well-being. The rise of artificial intelligence, which, while offering immense potential, also carries a shadow of technology without soul, if not guided by wisdom and ethics. We stand at a similar precipice, with incredible power at our fingertips, but facing the same fundamental choice. Will we choose heart or ego? Will we choose connection or control? But this time, we choose differently. This is our moment of conscious choice, our opportunity to rewrite the script. We are not bound by the mistakes of the past. We carry the wisdom of the ages within us, not just the Atlantean echoes, but also the enduring light of Lemuria, the wisdom of indigenous cultures, and the spark of divine consciousness that is inherent in every human being. This time, we choose to reconnect to our intuition, to our hearts, to each other, and to the earth. We choose to remember that true power comes from alignment, not from domination. We choose to cultivate humility, acknowledging that we are part of a grander design, not its masters. We choose soulful technology, using our innovations to uplift and harmonize, rather than to control and exploit. We choose to heal the fractures both within ourselves and in the world around us. We choose to be conduits of light, not channels for shadow. This isn't about shunning technology or retreating from the world. It's about integrating heart and wisdom into everything we do. It's about remembering that true progress is measured not by how much we can control, but by how much we can love, how much we can connect, and how much we can contribute to the collective well-being. So if this memory stirs something deep in you, a spark that says we can choose differently, let it guide you. Join us as we remember what they tried to erase and shape what comes next. Help this light reach more seekers. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss what comes through. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice is part of this unfolding story. We are the bridge between what was and what can be. Together we remember.